Hello, everybody. How y'all doing? So, could not get the battleship video up. Time constraints and whatnot. So I thought, we've got to do something for Monday. Let's show off a little bit of work going on and do a little bit of a build stream. Multi-grid at you. Yeah, that was a. I've actually got this up on the workshop right now. It's a better version. I would say probably the best version or the most accurate looking version of the F-302 from Stargate on the Steam Workshop. This one here has been modified heavily. Took the main back thruster out and replaced it with a few hydrogen thrusters. Done some experimentation with this thing, figuring out the guns and all that. Yeah, it's multi-grid, and the problem with it is I've used it in survival. Now, as far as flying, with the main thruster on the back, it has enough hydrogen inside of the tank systems, and it uses compressed. These are the small hydrogen tanks all stacked. It has the hydrogen thrust to win a dogfight, especially with its rockets and the original. It had two original small Gatling guns underneath its chin that you'd fight with. It's maneuverable. It's fast. I mean, I've had one of these before. Hang on there. Let me just pull one of these up. Two here. This is it right here. So this is the original. And I have this baby up on, like I said, it's up on the Steam Workshop. But, pull it back here. She is more than capable of getting from point A to point B. So yeah, I got the battleships over here too that we're going to be looking at. We'll fly right through them here. You can see it maneuvers pretty good for a ship that's multi-gridded and everything else, but like I said, it's one of them ships that when you start using it, another thing I also did with it was I set it up to where you had to turn it and make it, because most of its thrust is downward. This thing is both atmospheric and it'll work in both atmosphere and space. It can literally fly from point A to point B and get out there. The problem, and I understand Jack Dawes is going to be right back. We're just doing this for well, I can see the other two people that are in the audience right now. The purpose of this was I wanted to see if I could do it. The problem with this particular ship that me, Chris, both ran into was when we would build this thing, it would take forever for us to build just one of them because it has. Let me pull this up here so I can show you. Info, show center of mass. This thing has 5 separate grids on it. Actually, no. It has 7 separate grids. So when I went subgrid on this thing. I went ham with this sucker. Now it's got a couple of cool features with it. One thing, you can raise the wings up. I think I can do that. Let me hop in here real quick, and I'll activate the tab here. And I believe 9 turns it off, and then you can actually lift the wings up like that. I think I've showed this thing off. I've done a review on this baby. But like I said, this thing has so many points on it. You have to build all this stuff individually and then try to figure out how to attach it. And I've pulled every single trick. I've tried every single mod. And it's a great cinematic ship if y'all want to use it for cinematics and stuff like that. But for survival, even though this is entirely vanilla, if you could build it, it's decent. If you can't, but if you are in that position where you just can't build it, you're better off building something else. So that's where this new nightmare is coming along. So I say nightmare because Most of y'all are gonna look at this and say, "Oh, that's a cute. That's good. You know, it's small, it's reasonable, and everything else." No, this is not gonna be small. Does anyone else have low volume? Hold on. Let me see here. Let me see. I think I know what that is. That. How about now? Right about there. There we go. That should fix it. Um, Usually when I'm recording my stuff, I'll put the volume kind of low so I don't disturb anyone else in the house. Right now, it's me and my kid at the house. She's off school today. So I'm just sitting at home. Usually she goes to work with me and earns a little bit, but that's not happening at the moment. But yeah, so I'm trying to go from something that's not so complex, and I came up with this really, really, really psychopathic idea that anyone who is Greek is going to hate me. Yes, thank you, thank you, thank you. This is the one over here. This is the F-302. It is in the workshop right now on Steam. Just look up Badger Wild F-302, and it's sitting right there in the workshop. There's a regular version that I built for survival, which has all the parts in different blueprints, and then there is this version that is just the creative. So if you want to use it for like cinematics and stuff like that, I don't care. Repaint it. The Let's see. I did a version of this for the fourth, I think it was, where I just painted it red, white, and blue, and then turned it loose onto a base with a whole bunch of heavy firepower, which is what we'll be adding to this one. This is the new ship, and I wanted a good fighter. I'm trying to combine the capabilities of this one without all the complexity. And my psychotic self decided, you know what would be great? Asymmetry. So I don't know what's going to happen when I get done with this thing. I may get done with it, and everyone will say, no, 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 go back to the subgrids, Badger, go back to the subgrids when I get done with this nightmare. But so far, what we've got going on in this is we've got heavy downward thrust. So when this thing pivots and turns, also, we're going to have some fan blades in the back here to help this thing maneuver. We've got about 4 main hydrogen thrusters on this side, and I'm going to try and keep it as light as I possibly can. We are going to have 2 large hydrogen thrusters somewhere here. And then, because I have worked on this, I am using weapon core right now. I have done the weapon core spacing. Let's go ahead and pull the sun around so you guys can see this nightmarish crap I'm coming with. Hey, jackdaws. So, you're just in time. Using weapon core, if any of y'all have seen my video on stagger fire weapons, I have come up with what I think is probably the cheapest amount of autocannons that can reach, with weapon core's stagger fire system, the ability to hit almost the same fire rate as a Gatling gun. It's large, but frick, you're going to love this. Just you will be able to catch something with that. And as we know, autocannons, when they hit something, they just about rip through it. And I truly believe in my heart that single grid is superior. Um, yeah, I was telling everyone on here that what I'm doing is I am going to have I'm building an asymmetrical fighter. So this is going to be this is the only way I can figure out with the asymmetry to take these guns and put them in a way that will concentrate the fire in such a fashion that as you're doing maneuvers and attacks, you're going to hit the target. The problem is in survival, doing these multi-grids like this, like I was saying before, all these multi-grids on here, you can see them. They are just nightmarish to implement and try to build. You almost need a factory to build something like this. So as soon as I figure out how to build a factory that can make this F-302 and make it work, yeah, I'll be building that. But until then, no, this is not the ship that's going to be coming. It's a nice cinematic, and I may do like a cinematic with it at some point in time. I may build like Might, if I can get the people together, do some type of cinematic where we've got these things flying in, doing like the Battle of Antarctica or something like that. But until then, no. This is the new ship that I'm working on. And the idea is to take this main cluster of FU, I've got more autocannons than you do, and place it somewhere in the center. And then we'll have a secondary main engine, which will also be which will be the primary fuel tank on this side. We have power generation over here, and I am using a few mods. You know the American MLRS system? I don't think so. What does it stand for? And I might have heard of it. I'm not familiar with all the acronyms. But the um, the kicker here is to put, the way I build this and most of my fighters, is to put enough ground or downward thrust that when this thing makes a turn, the downward thrust immediately stops and then it pushes it off. And it causes a push effect. You almost have like a, what is word? Yeah, it's almost like you're flying in a liquid. I guess would be the best thing. Jackdaws. There's a tracked vehicle and the truck chassis. The truck chassis has half the capacity. Oh, multi-launch rocket system. Yeah, I've seen those where they're tracked and they have it's got the big box on the back and it opens up. I had one of those as a micro machine one time, and that was just the coolest little thing. It was rocket artillery. Love that idea. You could do that with Weapon Core. That's why I said if there is a mod that you guys are going to install on your system, Weapon Core and Weapon Core Replacement Vanilla is just that does so much for your game. It is probably one of the best weapon mods you could probably put on your system, and it fixes so much stuff. It replaces so many things. It makes so many things more popular, such as the Nightmare 6 autocannons that are on that thing right over there. So the kicker with this right now, though, is I need to build. This is fun. Right now, I'm going to try and build a system in which I can hook up what I've got here. And I might unhook this and add a... Let's do that. Let's do that. The track one is superior in the same way multi-grid is superior. Or single grid is superior. My bad. Never mind. My bad. Yeah. Like I said, the problem with multi-grid is you have to figure out how to make all of it work together. Let me see. We're going to pull out this converter block. Here we go. That's what I thought. And we're going to smack that there. And we're going to get this big, heavy thruster here. And I'm going to smack this bad boy right there. So we've got this giant Uber thruster in the back. So when I hit the main thrust, this thing just says, "Yep, we're gone." So you just out of here before it has a chance to even catch it. I am calling this thing the Fang because the faction is Wolf Legion or Iron Wolf Legion, and it needs. I just figured that'd be a nice way to run the thing. So it's going to have two main hydrogen thrusters and one hydrogen thruster in front to stop and provide forward stopping. We're also going to have ion thrusters just for baseline thrust, so it doesn't use as much fuel. So this thing can do long range patrols if we have to. And the plan is I'm going to try and bring back survival under fire. For those of y'all that are probably going to be excited to hear that, we're going to come back with that at some point in time in the future. There are some things I've got to hammer out first before we can actually do that. But if it works out, this will be the next. This will be in the lore. This will be the replacement to the F-302 that we're using. This will be the replacement ship for that. I've got to find I lost a vessel that I had built before I had built the F-302, and that was that and another one were the predecessors, which I should do that at some point in time. I should rebuild that sucker from my head and show off like the differences in IWL fighters as they go up. This here, however, is going to be like I said, asymmetrical. The guns are going to be centered in the middle, and then you're going to have your secondary tank, which is going to be the primary hydrogen thruster cell. And then we're going to have another 2 engines on the side and this nice little wing going off, and then we're going to mount all kinds of missiles to the bottom of the wing, and when it comes in, it's just going to haul off and rain hell on everything that gets too close to it. So one of the things I got to do right now also is I got to figure out how I'm going to do this under chassis here, because I need to have that figured out before it gets over there. This is the thing about the way I build. I've usually got to have a lot of things figured out before we can go, before a whole lot of other things can be done, suffice it to say. Okay, so I've got that going. Let's grab this. Oh wait, no, I already had this. Let's grab that there. And we're going to put this guy here as well, and then I can just build this up on that side. So there we go. Yeah, I'm not using mirror mode at the moment. I may come back later and replace some of these pieces strategically with heavy armor. That was the thing I did with the F-302, and it holds up in a straight head-to-head lancing, where you'll have it go toe-to-toe with another unit, and it can take some punishment, because the forward chassis on this, I believe, here and around the cockpit is all heavy armor. So the front section of this thing can take a beating. And I have had instances where one of the wings has been blown completely off. This thing is still fly. Like I said, it is a complicated mess. We're going to implement the same concept on this to try and make it a little bit more difficult to kill in the long run. Let's see here. I may... that is interesting. I may have to modify that antenna, maybe? Hope not. Well, that'd be bad if I do. So let's see. Like number 3. And I am going to try. Shove that in there. And that in there. We're going to do this on the other side as well. There we go. And we'll do this point down to here. But yeah, the fun part about building this thing... Oh, hey, Cataclysma, how you doing? So, another thing I'm going to do is I'm probably going to build kind of a softer nose to this thing instead of just straight pointed. And we'll do that so it kind of softens up the nose a bit. Gives it that rounded kind of look. So it's not so... Well, it's aggressive, but it's not going to be like super aggressive. There. And then I can build that down 1, and that'll just work with the rest of it. And then we'll have a nice open chassis section, and then I've got to figure out how to incorporate all of this together, which will be fun. Oh boy. Alright. So... how am I going to incorporate that together? Let's see here. Number 3. But yeah, I already know what people are saying right now. I can't believe we are building this psychotic looking fighter. Oh, that's gonna be interesting to pull off that angle right there. I can tell you that much. May just pull that out entirely and try something different. I don't know. Let's see. Well, hang on now. I've got these other blocks. Let's see what I can do with this. Nope. Dang. Wait, do I not have a... We have a block here that I think will work. Yeah, we'll just do that. Check that out. That's actually pretty cool. That gives it a kind of a mass look to it. It does leave this area here kind of open though. I don't like that, but well, I don't like leaving that one little spot there open. But I don't see a whole lot of options right now because of what's happening. Why am I sure am wiggling a whole lot when I move. That's just throwing me off at the moment. Oh well. Let's see, where's that at? We'll do that right over here, and we'll just use that to bring it all together here, if possible. Now, oh, wait a minute, no, I had it right the first time. There we go. And then, where's that? There we go. There. That's working out perfectly. So we'll build the chassis section up the side here. And with any luck, let me try something. Come on, there we go. And then we can just take this section here and build up that way. Yeah, I guess I should say this. Sorry for the hiatus, everybody. I had to turn my kid into a dragon this weekend. Or this Halloween. She's like, Daddy, can I be a dragon for Halloween? I'm like, yeah, sure. Let me figure out how I'm going to do that exactly. But once I do, you'll be the first to know. And there we are. That is looking pretty good. It's got more of a fighterish look to it, and the main thruster back there, one of the two main thrusters, is centered. And as soon as I get done building all around all that, I should be able to put a couple of atmospheric thrusters on the bottom, and then we'll just use the hydrogen as the main maneuvering thrusters, which will make things work very, very cool. It'll make things really awesome when I get done with it. But yeah, this here seems to be a good way to break this up. I would like to try and do a... I could do the same thing over, but I like that little lip that comes out the side. It just kind of gives it a little bit of character there. So we're going to leave it. Let's go to number 3 here and see what we can do. No, that's number 2. Number 3, there we are. We're going to go here. And I think what I'm going to do... I don't have to go that high. I can go lower, actually. Let's put this back in. We're going to use this new block. There we go. I have a bad habit of doing this, but there we go. Gonna build one with the folding wings. Yeah, the thing I would tell you with the wings, you can do this and it flies really well. Even with the wings down. All you gotta do is just lock them in place. If they're not locked and they start to bounce a whole lot, I would suggest that if you're gonna build wings like this, do this update that I did here, because I'll have that on this one. Originally I had a whole bunch of hinges right here. I replaced the middle ones with just a heavy armor blocks, and then just had 2 hinges on each end. But if you do these thick wings like this, they're actually pretty cool, because when you do thick wings, you can start putting all these flat pieces on there that are a different design. This thing came out right when they dropped the panel blocks. I was in the process of building it, and then the panel blocks dropped, and I was like, oh, wait, I can do this. I can do decorative stuff now. So it was awesome. This one here, we're just putting on the main wing just to try and take this wing section out here and make it a little... Oh, yeah, that's another thing. Inside this, I believe, right there is a decoy in the tip of the wing. I forgot about that. Yeah, so this thing has wing... when it comes back, usually the wingtips are blown off of it when it runs into something. But the most I could ever really build realistically, time-wise, the problem is time. You can build one of these things, but to build it and go through all the crap of building one of these things and then attaching all of it and yada, 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 you have to basically build this thing in pieces. And it's just the time-consuming thing of doing all this stuff and then programming it, because sometimes you have to do it straight and you have to get the right distance on it and everything else. And it's just a nightmare. So I thought, we'll do something a little simpler, a little bit easier, a little more robust. Do like that. And we'll see how that works out. So I think what I'm going to do here, since I have the ability, since I have it now, I have the ability to do this. We're going to do this nonsense right here. I'm going to head this way for a bit. It's about right there. And then I may have to figure out at some point in time how to break this up. I don't know. I may have to figure this out. When building like this, and you build long form like this, it's better just to build it and then do what I call carving. See, I've got what I want it to look like up front and on the side here, but then underneath here I'm gonna have to come up with something different. So this will have to be widened at some point, but I don't know how much it'll have to be widened. So we're gonna just leave it like that for the moment, and I'm gonna figure out what I have to do. I don't know. I may widen this to a point where I can just incorporate that into the side of it, so we can get rid of a lot of these weld marks. I could just put weldless armor on there. It would also work, I suppose. But yeah, I get all that done. I need to rebuild that one fighter, because there's just one fighter, and I can do a video showing y'all all the updates going from the original fighter that I used to where I am now with my fighter designs. The first one I used, I just snatched it off of the workshop, and we were playing a moon run. It was vanilla, and we just snatched it off the workshop, fueled it up, built it on a 3D printer, and me and Chris just kind of flew it a little bit as a sort of like an escort, basically is how it was done. And this here is kind of a similar concept. And then later on I built another one that had the forward swept wing, and then built this to replace it because it did not have any hydrogen thrust capability. It was just all ion and atmospheric thrust. It could go onto the, they could fly down to the surface and fly back up. But then, and it was actually much, much smaller than this F-302. It was tiny. That thing was itty bitty. And then when I got done with it, I went from the F-302, and now we're going to this new concept, a little bit more reasonable, I guess would be the concept here. Would be the idea. We're going to be a little more reasonable with the design idea here. So I need to decide, how am I going to make this thing work here? I think I want to bring these sections here. Let's go to number 8 on my keyboard here. And I go up. And then I'm going to go over like that. There. There. And okay, there we go. That's our T block there. Do I want to do it like that, or do I want to do... Let's throw that in there. Because I honestly have no idea how this might work. But all in all, we have we have the ability to pull this off. So we're right here, and the way I want this to work, if I can incorporate everything I want, let me look at something here. I've got the distance here. I could probably strap in my atmospheric thruster, especially if I do the flat one. So we can put the atmospheric thruster right down here and just curve into it with this, or build around it with this fuselage when we get done. The amazing part back here is, where am I going to put the connectors? And I want the connectors to be in basically the same spot. I don't want them to... Okay, we're going to build a secondary section here. Nope. Yeah, right about here. And that'll give me the ability to do a sharp pullback. And then this is where the main... I don't know. I kind of want to make this to where it'll come down, but I'm afraid it's going to make it way too wide, because I'm going to need 3 blocks coming from here, and I'm going to have the gun station back here, and then we're going to have the ammo storage right over here. So, and then I'm going to do a wing system or something. I came up with this great idea of putting a really sharp wing on the back, kind of like a bowed thing where it kind of comes off itself, and then mounting a whole bunch of these AIM-6s on top of it. So you had the AIM-6s mounted on top of that one tail wing, and then you had a whole bunch of heavy missiles mounted underneath each of the wings. I mean, just, you know, really crazy cool stuff going on there. Just absolutely terrifying stuff. Anyway, I got my kids back to, actually, yeah, I should continue that. Back to my kids' costume. What did I do? I ended up going insane. And like an engineer in space, or a guy who plays engineering games like this, I up and said, you know what I'm going to do? It's not enough that I can make a suit, a costume for my kid that is just amazing. I'm going to go ahead, go absolutely nuts, and give my kid an 8 individual articulating dragon tail. And then my kid comes to me later and says, Dad, can I have a barb on the tail? I'm like, yeah, sure. This is after I realized I may have bitten off more than I could chew, and I was like losing my mind a little bit. But that worked out really well. Fortunately, it all worked out. I managed to get it done in time. So, psycho crazy stuff that is going on. Okay, let's see here. We have that thruster right there. Put this big connector here. And then I'm going to slap this medium connector right there. That way we can mount this thing on the bottom of ships, and I can mount it on that one deal. I think there's a certain size, I feel like there's a certain size of craft, like a ratio of one large thruster to overall size ratio, when you can be aesthetic, super practical, and find the golden zone for size, and still use nothing but large thrusters. Actually, the ship that was in between the workshop ship that we used and the F-302, its entire upward, forward, and reverse thrust was nothing but heavy ion thrusters. Now, it wasn't the fastest thing out there by any means, but it was a nice little jumping off point. But it had the coolest, and I've got to say, the coolest ion thruster design that I want to adapt to for hydrogen thrust, because it looked like a forward swept Buccaneer from Star Citizen to an extent, only it had a much bigger nose. which housed like I think I want to say 4 Gatling guns in it. So it could do some damage. Then it had like 4 rocket launchers on the wings. So it had plenty of firepower to get the job done. That was back before like the new weapon stuff came out. Okay, we have that built there. I need to figure out how I'm going to build this. Alright, how big are these dang guns? Okay, so the guns are about 4 long. And here's the kicker. If the guns are targeted, they're going to hit that magazine, and that's going to go up spectacularly. Oh well, that's what we're going to probably end up doing. Let's see. So I've got this. If I can... Oh, I can just do that. What we're going to do... Where are the number 8s? There we go. I'm going to curve this around. And then here... That... We're going to use this cross T section. Put that there. And if I am sucking on my lip too much, and it's annoying, I am very sorry, because I have a really bad canker sore right now in my mouth, and it is driving me nuts. I'm sorry. What separates the boys from the men? The men usually have way bigger firepower. Way bigger firepower. I may drop this thing down slightly and connect it with 2 connectors on either side, and then just work from there around. Or I could actually. I don't want to do that because it's going to interfere with some of the stuff. I could do that. Drop this one down. Hang on, let me do that. I'm afraid it's going to make it too long, though, but we'll see. We'll drop... We'll drop this down. Just makes life more difficult. It is way too tall because now this is the center point of the ship. And as I build, the center of mass is going to move more and more over to this side. And then I've also got to enclose this thing somehow. Probably going to do a lot of... So there, actually, I'll tell you what. We drop that down. Let's just shove it right under here. Since we dropped everything down anyway. That way the bottom connector can connect properly, and I can do something weird up here to make all that work. If I have to, I'll come back and do something weird to fix it. What is that? That is awfully fast. Huh. Those of you wondering, this isn't the normal version of what's going on. This is like the regular. Now that this is out of the way, though, I can build that wing over the back here, which is going to connect these 2 hydrogen engines that are going to be on the side. And then I can start lobbing aim sixes off the top of this thing. That'll just be effing cool when I get it going. Okay, so now let's go back over here. Add 2 blocks there. And a block or 2 there, I suppose, would be marginally best. We're going to go with this. Let's see. I could do this. That'd be a great idea right there, I think. Wait, hold up. Let's try something. Let's go. Can we do it? Can I do it? Where's the block? Where's the block? There it is. We're gonna try something crazy here. Bear with me. Ooh, that looks interesting. Oh, that looks really cool. All right, now we've done something now. We have accomplished something. Let's see how to do that. Okay, it'll have to come back in from here. So, oh no, I don't know. Go back to there, where it'll click into place. And then that'll just look kind of rounded. There. That's looking pretty good. We have that full aught killjoy right there. Just ready to rock and roll and rumble. And then I'll add some, up here in front, I'll just add a few regular pieces, and I'll start combing some of this down and shaping it, making different fuselage pieces and whatnot. So, yeah. She's turning out pretty good. With 2 heavy thrusters, with 2 hydrogen thrusters, and no, at least for forward motion, it's going to have 2 hydrogen thrusters, and then we're going to have 2 ion thrusters pushing it. It's going to be wide. It's going to be a wide load, but it is going to be able to lob. This right here is going to be like having your own personal ball turret sitting right here. And I did think about making this a ball turret, but I thought, though I could do that, the nightmare of building something like that would be far less effective. Oh, wait, I just realized something. Ah, crap. Okay, we're deleting all that. How far back are we? Deleting that too. We're going to put a camera right there. Can I? Yeah, we're going to put a camera right there. Because that is just too perfect to not have a camera. Right there. There. It does make it look a little obscene, but we are going to have a camera right here. So I can have a camera. Let's pull this, and then this thing, then we get some real fun happens, because now I can lock onto my opponent. I can look right at him, and I can just blast the living crap out of him real quick. Make them wish they were never born. Okay, we have this, and now all I need are a couple of, yes, these are the missiles we're going to be using. Those are downright amazing right there. Let's see. I've got these round windows. I would like to use them. But we're going to do this instead. Unable to add window. Really? Okay. I guess we can't add the window there. Unless I go insane. There is a way. There is a way to pull this off. There is a way. There is the way. I know the way. I know the way, boys. I know the way. Alright, so we can do one of 2 things. I can strap. I'm going to have 3 windows protecting this camera from straight incoming fire. Now, the advantage here is I had that. Now, the problem is I can put something else here. I can either drop another big block, a flat block, or okay, we're gonna go over here for a minute. Look at all this massive hardware I have here. I'm fixing to start strapping to this monster when I get it done. Let's throw the spotlights out here. And let's look. Can I do it? Can it be done? No, it cannot. That looked cool. I'd have made that just bright frickin' red and just let it terrorize everything in front of it. Okay, it's not possible. That's not possible. So, my other option is I can do this, maybe? Or we can just be minimalistic. Where is it? Where is it? There it is. And we can do that. Do this, which does give it a bit more girth. Or we can do this and just have it all sheer and flat. I think we'll go with number 2 because I actually like the... Or wait, we have another option here. I just remembered I have one more option. Let me try this. Let me try this. I have another option. This would just be aggression. This will just scream ruthless aggression right here. A couple of spikes off of it would just scream ruthless aggression here. Let's see. Can I do this? Can I do this? 9. Yes. Yes, we can do that. Oh, nice. So we have our main gun. I can swap over to targeting camera. Turn this sucker on. And 6 autocannons are going to light something up. For those of you that are saying, 'cause we got like 7 people, let me show you what this looks like. Hey kid, will you get the door? Hang on just a minute. Let me get the door. I got a door here. Anyway, I am back. For those people that had not seen it yet, have not seen it yet, watch this. 6 autocannons with weapon core. That will catch you at some point in time. But unfortunately, I'm gonna have to go. This is something that I am working on in my spare time. So once this thing gets done, it will immediately become one of the first things coming in. Hopefully on the Survival Under Fire series, this will be the ship, the ground, or the fighter we're going to use, because we're going to increase the NPC terror that was in the last one. Everyone liked it. We were fighting. Chief C, love the wing designs. Yeah. Forward swept wings. I love the concept. Absolutely zero stealth. You get with those things. You get all kinds of maneuverability, but you get zero stealth capability. It actually makes your... I did not know this, and I was trying to figure out, why don't we use more forward swept wings? That thing may make a great camera protection tip. Yeah, just level up a whole bunch of windows. But the thing about this thing is, the forward swept wings, if you look at them, they are completely worthless when it comes to stealth. But they make your aircraft so unstable, you need a computer to almost drive it. Which is a good thing and a bad thing at the same time. It's a good thing in the fact that your aircraft is extremely maneuverable. It's a bad thing in the fact of if that computer ever goes out, you almost can't control it. I mean, there have been plenty of instances where pilots have almost lost control of an aircraft. I have often wondered, I should do a video on this sometime, of me just coming up with engineering crap. But I have often wondered why there is not a stealth turboprop or a stealth induction fan aircraft used for precision bombing stuff. I mean, there and I understand turboprops and that kind of aircraft are already pretty stealthy because of how low they can fly, but I have often wondered what it would look like to make a stealth turboprop or a stealth. I think an induction fan would probably be the most effective way of doing it. And I don't know. One of the advantages of those types of aircraft being so small is that they are really cheap, like stupidly cheap. But yeah, so like I was saying before, for those of you that just joined, this is going to be one half. We are exactly the middle point here. We're going to have a whole new section of this plane or this spacecraft be built, which is going to have the same wing, same uh, two ion thrusters, same side hydrogen thrusters. Most of this is going to be hydrogen thrust controlled. We're going to have two heavy hydrogen thrusters pushing out the back end here, a nice little wing going over the top. I will probably finish this whenever I can because I'm getting stuff ready for the next Survival Under Fire, so you guys y'all can celebrate. We're going to be doing that pretty soon, as soon as I can get some other stuff figured out. But once that is done, we will be probably using this to fight off the NPCs that are going to attack us in Survival Under Fire. I don't know. I may have a couple of friends who are going to join up. We may have more people this time around who will be just bringing their own methods of play and their own abilities into the whole thing, and it's getting pretty good. I'll throw up some pictures of some of the stuff that's been finished and completed. You guys can check that stuff out and take a look. But yeah, it's going to be almost exactly the same, a little bit bigger than the F-302, but it's going to be much more narrower. If I come down here, you can see it's going to be a very narrowly built fighter. So when this thing comes in, its attack profile is going to be very, very, very small. And once I get it done, I'll add some strategic armor to this thing so that it is almost impossible to hit when it comes barreling in. Not to mention, we're going to have missile racks. This thing's going to have hellfires it can throw at you. It's going to have, what else? Probably some long range missiles of some type or a rocket pod set up. And then we're going to have some AIM-6 missiles in the back, which are just going to be just taking down targets. Plus this main cannon right here, which is just going to be blistering fire really tight onto an enemy, and they're just going to be trying to dodge this thing like, oh crap, oh crap, oh crap. I'm loving this right now. Anyway, folks, hope you guys enjoyed the live stream. Let me check here because I've got to turn this off so I can see how long. Oh, we're going 54 minutes. All right, that was better than I thought it was. Than I thought it was. I thought it was like 30 minutes we were doing this. But anyway, I got to go to work. Unfortunately, I still have to work. But if you guys want to support the channel, I will go into this and put links in the description on where you guys can support. There is a subscribe star. Y'all can check this out on Rumble, I believe. I haven't made any money off Rumble yet. I don't know what's going on there. I'm going to have to figure out how the monetization works. But I got to think about it later, and I gave my wife and I were talking, and I threw an idea at her one day, and she said, that would be really cool if you made that, she said, and I think people want to buy it. So I guess the question, I'm going to propose a question at some point in time, a little vote, so you guys can vote today. And if you guys would be willing to buy something like this or not, because I think the best thing I can do for this channel, I don't want to be one of those people that comes out there and says, oh, give me money, I'm begging, give me money. I want to be one of those guys that comes out and says, hey, I got a product now. Y'all have been fans of the channel for so long. I've got something cool for you guys to buy. It's going to be neat. Probably going to be like a t-shirt. It's the cheapest thing I can do at the moment. So that is going to be the cheapest thing we can do with the limited amount of funds I've got. And considering all the, the inflation and everything else, everybody's got limited funds. But anyway, thank you all for watching. Be on the lookout for that vote. And I've got one. I think I can get another one figured out. We may have two products. I'm not sure. Also, about the Subscribe Star. The Subscribe Star, if y'all are still watching, has been rebranded. Nothing is up yet. I have redone the Subscribe Star. It's not there to give out any behind the scenes stuff because I realize my schedule is so ballistic. I don't have any behind the scenes stuff working on that would work very well. So what I'm doing is I do writing in my spare time just for like the YouTube being creative and everything else. I do a job that I don't get to decide how I'm creative on it. I just have to make things for other people, and that drives me nuts. So one of the ways I stay sane is to make things that I want. And one of the things I do is I do some writing. So I'm probably going to write up some kind of short story, come up with characters, write some short stories. If you guys are interested in that. Now, mind you, there's nothing like that on the Subscribe Star yet. But when I get it up there, I will be sure to put a thing out into YouTube on the community posts, and that'll let y'all know when the first story comes up. I've got one. I'm going to go into it and refine it a bit more, do a little bit more refinement, put it up there, and I'd like some feedback on it. But if you guys want to do that, the Subscribe Star is only $1 a month. If y'all want to do it, and I'll just have all the stories posted, and you can just start reading through them, and y'all can go from one to the other. Give it just some simple escapism, okay? One of them that I'm working on is a story that I did. My wife liked it, and a couple of my buddies in the real world, not the guys I talked to over the game, some of the guys that I've lived with and grew up with, have also read it. And it started a trend where I'm doing a more longer format story with these two characters. It's basically two guys out in the middle of space, and they're flying in a cursed ship. And it's just craziness ensues. It's how they get the ship and the crazy antics in how they get from point A to point B, and tells you a little bit about the two of them. So you guys can check that out and see what's going on. As soon as I get it up, I'll let y'all know in the community post. But anyway, I gotta go. The boss is starting to send more text messages to my phone. And starting my phone's about to crack. He's losing his mind. So anyway, I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you all for watching. This is Badger Wild saying stay safe, stay frosty. I'll see the rest of y'all engineers next time on